Jonathan McIntosh, where everything triggers him so violently. Now, the difference between him and his girlfriend, Anita Sarkeesian, and yes, if you're wondering, they are a couple, is that at least you can tell Anita Sarkeesian is trolling. Her statements are so outlandish and ridiculous and lack any form of logical thinking and make no logical sense that it's really hard to take her seriously. But with this guy, I don't think he's trolling. I think he's legitimately serious in the stuff that he's posting. This guy is absolutely nuts and really in a lot of things that he believes. I mean, everything triggers this guy. And instead of, maybe getting off his ass and actually doing something about it, he's just sitting on his soapbox complaining on social media. And he pretty much is like every other social justice warrior out there. He doesn't like to create, he just likes to complain because that's easier for him to do than actually creating something. Because actually creating something to bring awareness to the issues that he feels strongly about would take two things, talent and passion. And those are things that he lacks in spades, honestly. And I don't get it. I really don't understand it. I mean, the stuff that he posts up there are just, not only are they just batshit crazy, but they're so mind-bogglingly stupid that it almost borders on truly, truly being offensive. It's just like, in his realm, no fun is allowed, and that he detests gamers, and, God forbid they should be excited about something, because again, in his world, no fun is allowed. When I was doing research on this guy for this very video months ago, and I found out some of the stuff that I was able to find out about him, that's when I knew how truly nuts this guy actually is. I mean, who can be able to think the way that he does and think that it's okay and think that he's in the right state of mind? People aren't making fun of you, Jonathan, because, they're anti-gamergaters and they're misogynists, and just because they want to take a peg on you and they want to harass you. No, 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 no. You see, Jonathan, when you act like an idiot on the internet, don't be so surprised when they make a mockery out of you in rapid succession. That's the way it works. If you can't handle it, then get the hell out. Can't take the heat? Get out of the kitchen. Oh, and you wanting the new Doom game to be banned and decrying gamers for being excited about demons getting ripped apart? Again, if you don't like blood and guts, you don't like bodies being ripped apart, then you can do an easy, easy thing. This is very, very easy to do. I'm having to dumb this down to your level so your pea-brain mind can understand it, but this is what you should do. This is what you can do, I should add. If you don't like it, then you don't have to watch it. You don't have to view it. You don't even have to pay attention to it. That is your right as a human being. It's not like somebody's pointing a gun to your face forcing you to view these things. So if it's triggering you that badly, don't watch it. Don't play it. But no, you're just going to get on your soapbox and complain because that's the easiest thing for you to do. Because you don't like to create. You don't like to simply ignore something you don't like. You just like to complain. And you wonder why people on the internet make fun of you? You wonder why people make memes about you? Is because you're an idiot and you're mind-bogglingly stupid. That's why. But hey, I mean, if you just want to be a crazed radical male feminist who believes that the world owes him something and shout out white privilege, yet say that, just because a woman makes a video game, that doesn't make her free of criticism, which is definitely true. Just because a woman makes a video game doesn't make her free from criticism. But in the same realm, a woman that makes a video series, which, by the way, is still not finished yet, even after she got $160,000 from a Kickstarter to do it, that doesn't make her free of criticism. Oh, but you'll just ignore that, and you'll block people. You'll censor them, for having a dissenting opinion. Oh, but you want to get on your soapbox saying that, just because a woman makes a video game that makes her free of criticism. To say you're a hypocrite would be an insult to the word hypocrite. Deeply and truly. And honestly, this guy, and I really, really mean this, in the 4+ years that I've been doing this show, arguably has to be one of the biggest idiots that I've ever encountered. I really have, if not the biggest. scratch that. He is the biggest idiot that I've ever encountered in the 4 years that I've been doing this show. And I've dealt with some very interesting people that this guy he just takes the cake. He really, really does. You know, and I mean, once you go full Macintosh, you never can go back, right? I mean, really, really, what more can I really say? The guy is nuts, and you know, I mean, if you want to think the way that you do, Jonathan, you have the right to do that. Don't get me wrong, but don't be a crybaby and don't get on your soapbox and complain when people call you out for it. Just saying. Jonathan McIntosh is the producer and co-writer of the Tros vs. Women in Video Games series, which was created by the infamous Anita Sarkeesian herself. So if you ever wanted to know where the absolutely ridiculous and outlandish statements come from that make no form of logical sense, then you can partly blame him for that. Now, I want to get something off my chest, and I'm aiming this directly towards you, Jonathan McIntosh. Don't sit here and try to pretend that you're doing this to fight against the patriarchy. Don't sit here and try to pretend that you're doing this to stop the harassment of women and blaze a positive trail for women in the video game industry. And don't sit here and try to pretend that you're doing this because you think violence in video games is an issue. The only reason you're doing this is because of money. Moolah, cheese, bread, guap, whatever terminology you want to use. If you weren't profiting off of this and piggybacking off Anita Sarkeesian's 15 minutes of fame, then nobody would care about you whatsoever. The only reason you're even remotely relevant in the first place is because you're Anita Sarkeesian's boyfriend. Nothing more and nothing less. You're just simply piggybacking off of her 15 minutes of fame to try and get yourself famous. If you actually want to make a positive change in the video game industry, and this is advice that you should definitely take, this is coming from me, then maybe you should, I don't know, actually get off your ass for once and do something about it. Actually create something. You know, start your own video game development studio. Make your own game. If you can't do that, get somebody else to do it for you. Contract them. Start a non-profit organization. Start a fundraiser. Just do something else for once, other than getting on your soapbox and complaining that video games aren't catering to your specific tastes and complaining that video games are too violent. I mean, why are you even in this industry in the first place? If you don't like video games, and it's obvious that you don't, given by your absolutely batshit insane tweets, I mean, why are you even in the industry in the first place? I mean, again, like I said before, if it wasn't for Anita Sarkeesian, nobody would care about you. So it's not like anybody's really forcing you to stay in this industry. Nobody has a gun in your head forcing you to be in this industry. If you don't like video games, if you don't like what they represent, if you don't like that they're not catering to your specific taste, if you don't like the fact that they're too violent and body parts are being ripped apart, then by all means, get the hell out. I'm serious. Because video games are not going to cater to your specific taste, no matter how much you want them to. Video games are video games, and nothing you say or do will ever change that. But, but you're not going to do that. You're not going to take my advice to heart, because you either think I'm a game negator or a misogynistic troll that hates women. Because like Mundane Matt said, you don't like to create, you just like to complain. Because that's all you and the rest of these social justice warrior hacks seem to be good at doing, because that is the easiest thing you really can do. So keep being a dumbass, keep being an utter idiotic moron, because all you're really doing is giving me more material to work with for this show, and all you're doing is giving your detractors, your opponents, more material to make fun of you with. So, congratulations, Jonathan, on going full Macintosh. You are an absolute inspiration. Now I'm going to do something unprecedented, something that I've never done before on this series, on the show. Jonathan McIntosh is the very first person to get my Young Hero seal of disapproval. If this were a physical medal, it would be right here. So, congratulations on, being young Jack Thompson and thinking that all video games are violent and it'll cause people to go and shoot up schools and, kill their loved ones. Congratulations. You are truly a special little snowflake, aren't you? So, cheers, full Macintosh, and cheers, young Jack Thompson. Ugh. Today's first quencher is brought to you by Nescafe Instant Coffee. It is absolutely delicious, and that's all I gotta say about that. This is Dakka Douglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces. Stay frosty and keep it weird. And before we go, full Macintosh, Joe Rogan from Fear Factor has a little something to say about your little patriarchy.
And you've seen ridiculous things though, like the social justice warriors, these really weird white people that are trying so hard to get black people to love them that they just go out of their way to just be outrageously progressive to the point where they're actually prejudiced against other white people. They go so far left they become right. I mean, I've seen some ridiculous shit where I saw this one guy who was quoting about Osama bin Laden saying that I will never celebrate someone's death. Even if they were a horrible person, and then the same guy quoted about Christopher Hitchens, good riddance. He was a misogynist and a warmonger. Like, okay, fuckhead, like you can't have it both ways. But what he is the uber version of the social justice warrior, the unfuckable white dude trying so hard to get women and black people to love him because he just is completely insubstantial in any real form in the normal context.